guys. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Want to say, appreciate the views, appreciate the watches. Today with Strok'en with Pipes, I'm gonna introduce you guys to the newest craze in the golf simulator world, and show you some of the reasons of why. So this the software I'm going to be talking about today is called GSPro. You can find this on the internet, GSProGolf.com. GSProGolf.com. It is taking over some of the sim world in regards to the real life look of the golf courses, the playability, some of the real life features of the golf course when you're playing, such as uphill lies, downhill lies, etc. And really, I'm just going to give you guys a quick little breakdown of the software at GSPro and some of the reasons why I like it, some of the reasons where they're still working on and they're making changes to it almost monthly. But this thing, when it's in the end, it's going to be probably one of the go-to simulator softwares around. It works with almost all of your different sim components, such as your GC2, your Unicore, SkyTrack, a number of other ones. For this video, I'm not really talking about a lot of those different things, but what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go through and just talk about the software and some of the features, and how you can kind of get around and what some of the things that do, and then show you probably one of the top things I like about it, is really being able to practice on the course, and what those features kind of give you. Hey, again, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Hit that bell so you get notified when I release other videos. I'm hoping to do that a lot more. I'm kind of working on some things in regards to, just getting the videos out quicker and sooner. Probably I'll be going live a lot more. Doing a lot of sim golf, online golf competition, tournaments. There's a huge community out there for that. And it's been pretty fun. So I'm gonna start, hopefully sharing that with some of you guys, and you can, kind of have it watching in the background and start giving me some more content to check out. So really, kind of go through the software. Again, it's GSPro, GSPro Golf, and right away, I'm not going to go through all the setup and everything. I am running this in regards to my sim, which is also the background being a SkyTrack type system. But I'm going to go through some of the things. There's a couple of videos out there in regards to if you want to get it set up for SkyTrack and how to go about doing that. I'm not really going to talk about that, but hey, it's up and running for me. And I'm going to just show you guys some of the features and once it's up and running. All right? So, without further ado, a little bit. Once you're up and running, this is the main screen here. Again, you got GSPro up here. You got local games for you to play golf. You got some buddies over. You got some friends. You just want to play a course. You want to play around. That's right there. You got some tournaments. So tournaments being, you can go in there and play some tournaments against other people who's posting scores, etc. That's also playing. You got your practice area, which I'll probably go into this a lot today with the practice. So being able to practice. Then you got online games. Online games, then basically I can play against anybody around the world that also has the GSPro software, no matter which type of sim they have, whether it be Unicore, GC2, GC3, etc. Unicore, we're able to kind of connect, very similar to playing online like PlayStation, Xbox type deal. The way they kind of tapped into online gaming is you basically just start a room. So you give your name a room, whatever you want. You can be, okay, we're going to, golf 2, golf 3, buddies together, and everybody just have to get put in that name of that room to join up. So here, down here, you kind of got what version, 1.24, 1.2.4.2 right now. They also showing you what's new in this version, some of the features that came out in this version. Hey, I'm a little late to jump on the party because I was waiting to see how this thing kind of took off, and now it's actually going well. It's really up and running in regards to being able to play without too many little issues, if any at all. So it's good to go, guys. I'll tell you guys, jump on it. Also, you know, like I said, you can go to their website. You know, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with that, but again, GSProGolf.com. So first thing I'll talk is the settings. Right away, you get in there in the settings. You can see you can add in multiple player names. I go and play by Panther. So I put in my Panther. The UID is, I'm not sure if that means much, but then you can get what your index or handicap is in regards to sim golf, what hand you are, whether you play left hand or right hand, and then the mini map location that you want for your name being on the left side, right side, or global. And then you can add in other names too. You know, so if I have friends coming over, my son who want, you know, play or whatever, I can just go ahead and add in them, and then you can give that a name, and then what level they're at, you know, with the default Minimap, you know, where they want to see it, player 2, and these are just some of the names of people that I've had over, which is cool because it will then, one of the things about it, will remember these people and remember their name. When I'm picking to play, I can then just pick one of the names and say, hey, this is who I have right now, who's playing today, etc. You can basically do that. You save it, save that in regards to that, so those settings then should stay in there for my players. So again, on the settings side, you also got game settings, right? So in the game settings, you got your metric or imperial. Metric is basically being, you know, there's a big, huge community of European or Canadian players that go by the metric versus yards and feet. They go by millimeters, etc. So I play by yards and feet, so I put it at imperial. You got to use the launch monitor carry, or you also have in the system to whether to use, you know, the game carry, etc. So you can kind of check that off. You also have where you can set up different altitude or temperature based on where you live. That also gives you a little more truer feel in regards to your distances that you should get normally. You also have a couple other things. I'm not sure on the course folder yet. I have to look more into that. But then on the mini map, again, you'll see that when we start getting the game. But you can identify on the mini map where you want it, on the left side, right side. You also have the user interface on a shot. So basically, after you make a shot, you can identify if you want that user interface to hide when you make a shot or not, and then you also have the enable distance display to show that info like as you're playing the game. So these are, and then whether you want the controller to be a simulator type environment, which is what I got, or you want to do this and you want to play it with a mouse. You can do that. So you can have guys that play this with a mouse, kind of like a computer game. So that's what that is. So your control type is whether you're a simulator or whether you plan it with your mouse on a computer. The other is the enable gimme circle. You get to see that when I get in and talk about, you know, when you're playing a little bit, the gimme circle is you can set up. Simulator is kind of tough, especially sometimes with putting. So what the online community is doing right now, and a lot of it is basically giving a gimme circle of either a 5-foot or 6-foot gimme. So once you kind of on the green and you get to that distance from the pin, your next shot is automatically given to you. So if I hit it inside the gimme circle on my third shot, then the fourth shot is automatically made type deal. So that's pretty cool. It helps the game. It helps the speed of it a little bit. And it also helps not having to deal with, because every course is built and the speed and stuff like that is different when you're live, and you can kind of feel that stuff or walk around the green. But you know, simulator, you got to kind of do all that stuff just with the screen. So give me the 5 or 6 foot is pretty standard with online sim play. The other little setting here is the offset. So offset is basically when you're playing. So if you're playing in an environment like I am, and maybe your hitting bay or hitting area is not directly centered to what you're hitting into, you can kind of offset that. So you can use this screen with in the right hand, left hand, and ball to screen to kind of offset what your center point is for when you're viewing and looking at the info. This little info button kind of gives you a little bit of a view of what that looks like, right? So it kind of explains to you what the offset is for. So the offset being, you know, the width, side, ball to screen, etc. And you can kind of figure out these numbers. The numbers are in millimeters, so you have to kind of go through that and just try to figure it out a little bit with millimeters, but you can constantly play around with that until you kind of like it. But that is a pretty cool feature with the offset. The other last thing on the settings with this part that I'll jump into is really courses. So once you're in there and you're set up, the cool thing about this is when you buy the software right now, which is kind of an annual membership, but you get all the courses. So every time they build a course or put out a new course, you get access to that course with no extra or upcharges or any more charges, etc. So in the course list, you kind of go right now, you know, they have the ability with these servers that's speeding up the courses, but you have the ability to download whatever course you want. You kind of just check it on and kind of download it. What I've done is I basically went through and I checked them all off. I downloaded every course that's available. I think that number right now is up to maybe 126 or 127 at the time of this video. There may have been only maybe 1 or 2 that I didn't download, maybe because it was a beta or something like that, and I'm like, okay, no biggie. But since I initially put this on, I can see there's one course right now that's been added that I haven't downloaded. So basically when you would do that, all I would do, and I'll go ahead and do it now, is you just check off. You know, I want to add this one to my library. Then it'll start downloading that course. You can check off as many as you want. It'll start downloading in the background, and it'll keep going. And when it's done, it'll just be available for you to pick when you get through the play and or practice, stuff like that. So that's pretty much the settings. So because I made a couple little settings in regards to players and games or whatever, you want to just save those settings, and it closes out those settings. The other thing I'll kind of jump through real quick is, you know, with the game itself. So now I've got the game, went through some of the settings, I'm ready, I want to play, I want to hit a couple balls, or I want to play a course. So I'm not going to play a course per se, I'll do some practice, but I'm going to show you with the local game. So I go to local game, all those courses that were listed and downloaded, so this is the visual look of those courses. Kind of get a little image of the course with the name and stuff, and you kind of just pick. Now, I'm in the Chicagoland area, so it's cool. We got some Chicago golf courses on there. We got Chicago golf, etc. Interesting course, and I was surprised to kind of see it, is I play in a tournament golf in a couple leagues around, and one of them we're going to be playing a course that's in Aurora, and the cool thing is that it's actually on this game. So I haven't checked it out yet to see how much it matches with the real theme, but I am going to do that, and if it does, it's going to give me a huge advantage, especially with practicing and getting ready for that course. So that course that I'm speaking of, one of them is actually called Phillips Park. So Phillips Park is a course that's in Aurora. So if I was going and I was going to do a local round, when I go to pick the course, I just go Phillips Park, right? So now at this point, this is prior to starting the round. So right now I'm gonna play. The cool thing and what I like about this system, again, GSPro Golf, is you can go through, you say who I'm gonna play. So right away I can say, okay, I'm Panther, I'm gonna be playing, and I can say what tees I want to use. So with Phillip Park, it seems to have 5 different tee boxes to pick from. The other cool thing I'll kind of point out too is almost all of the courses have a par 3 and a junior tee. And this is actually cool for what it does is you can almost pick any one of the courses and play it from short yardages. So you want to play like a little par 3 course, that's what this does. It takes Phillip Park and puts you in the fairway at short distances to kind of play around, especially work on your short game, etc., which is a cool feature, especially if you got some young kids that want to play or some up and coming juniors. So I can do either the black, the white, the red at the par 3 level, and then even junior. So that's cool, and you can pick that by person. So let's say I wanted to play against a little kid or nephew of mine, and I want to play the black. And as an example, I can then say, okay, I'm going to let PJ, but PJ can play from the junior or the par 3, right? And we can still kind of compete. And for every player, you also pick what color they're going to show up as. And this is good too, because one of the cool features of GSPro that is really one of the reasons why it's taken off is the ability to do teams. We can play 2-man teams, we can play battle ball, we can play alternate shot, etc. And you can basically, you build a team by putting them with the same color. Now, in this case, we're going to just play in different slots, so I'll keep us different colors, and then that will use those colors to kind of show our ball markings as we're playing, and you'll be able to see where my ball is versus where PJ ball is, etc. Right? So that's the cool thing about it, and setting up just with local play, and you got buddies over and you're playing, and you want to play against different teams to make it competitive. The other thing is the game type, and the game type is huge. All these game types, they work. They're really cool, from stroke play to a scramble to a match play, alternate shot, best ball, stable forward, which as they indicated is in their beta. But the scramble part, the match play, which is really cool, and the game controls all of that. So if you're playing scramble, when you're setting up your players, you just set them up with the same color code, and it knows that those colors are on the same team versus the other color. So with the scramble, you can play 3 against 1, you can play 4 against 1, you can play 2 against 2, you can play 4 against 4. The other thing I want to mention too, if you notice, the other cool thing is you can play up to 8 players at one time. So you get buddies over, man, you got a nice little setup, you having a nice little party, you want to come over, all right, we're going to play some scramble, we're going to play 2-man scrambles or 4-man scramble, and just make a night of it. Hey, GSPro is your game. GSPro is your sim software that lets you do that. Boom, that is a huge feature, especially in the sim world, and the whole hanging out, entertaining with the buddies type feature to make this all kind of go is being able to do that with up to 8 people. Now, it may not be as fun for your spouses, etc., but hey, for your golf lovers or whatever, it's a really cool feature to get some people over and kind of enjoy that. Again, so stroke play, we got scramble, we got match play, so you kind of do that when you're setting up. You also setting up what the default tee is, although you can still by player to say what tees they're going to use in the game. On the pins, you get different pin locations, so you can actually pick, is it the Thursday pin, the Friday pin, the Saturday and Sunday, and what that does is it defaults the pin for each hole to kind of let you play the course differently. So Thursday might have the easy pin location. You can come back and play the exact same course and say, you know what, I'm going to pick the Saturday pin location. Well, what it does is it moves the hole somewhere else on the course, somewhere else on the green, which is actually pretty cool. You get to some of the tougher courses, you start to play Sunday. Well, Sunday is usually the hardest pin location, etc. So that's also cool. The gimme. the Gimme Auto Putt. So when I was saying about putting, this right here allows you to set up the Gimme feature for your putting. The default in the game is 5 foot. And like I said, most of it is 5 or 6 foot is standard, but you can change it to whatever you want. The other cool thing is you can also put it at auto putt, a fixed distance, or auto putt random. So basically, auto putt fixed distance is it might be that you say, okay, with auto putt fixed, it's going to automatically give you a score once you hit the green. So you can basically hit the green, and if you're 12 foot away, it might give you a 2 putt, and if you're 30 foot away, it might give you a 3 putt type deal. So that's kind of what that does. And then the auto putt random is very similar, where it'll randomly kind of decide that based on how far away you are and maybe how hard the green is to kind of give you that. So, but the good one that most, at least on the online and sim and whatever, is 5. But if you're dealing with a lot of new players or new to the game, etc., the auto putt fix is really good, because all they got to do really is just hit the green. Once you hit the green, it'll determine whether you should have a one putt, a 2 putt, or 3 putt, etc. So that's the cool thing on the putting. The stimp is cool too, because the stimp is basically allowing you to control how fast you want the greens to roll, especially for putting. So I've kind of played around a lot, and my default based on my setup and what I have is probably good 9. So I have from my hitting area to my screen is about 8.5, 9 feet. So that kind of gives me where like if I'm getting it, I got like a little 9-footer or a 12. I kind of use that as my distance gauge, and that knowing that if I hit it, right there, that's where it's gonna go. So I kind of come up with maybe a stimp of about 9 is what works best for me in my little area. The other thing is you got the putting, whether it's normal, easy, or hard. And again, this all makes the game play differently. So normal versus easy and hard, it just changes how the putting is and how difficult the putting gets. Time of day, again, what time you're playing. So changing the time of day, it just changes the setup of the course in regards to the sun being out, it being cloudy and stuff like that. You got weather, whether you want it clear, you want it raining, you got it cloudy. There's some other cool features that I'll show you when you're doing practice, where you can actually be playing in the snow. You name it. Mulligans, again, with the game you determine, okay, do you want mulligans on, you want mulligans off, yes, no. And then the fairway, firmness. So you got normal on the fairway. You can determine whether you want it to be link style, you want it to be hard, firm, soft. And all this does affect the gameplay. If you make the fairways hard, you can hit a nice drive, and that drive might then run out another 30, 40 yards. Maybe even more, depending on if it's downhill a little bit, etc. So having that, with firm or harder stuff, all does affect the way the game plays, which also adds to the excitement, etc. And the same thing with the green firmness. So having the green firmness the same way allows you to kind of have that. Either balls in a stop and check. They might, stop, 2-bounce stop, or 2-bounce get you a little back up, etc. That's what these things are. So all this stuff kind of just adds to the play of the game. The LA Correct, that's a feature that's kind of tied into putting. The LA Correct is kind of allows you if you're playing a game, and I'll show you with the putting, and when you're moving the putter line, it just makes it where you can move the line over, but you always always want to putt straight, right? So in my case, I just want to putt straight, and I can just use the mouse or the arrow to kind of adjust that. That's what the LA kind of does. If you don't do the LA, and you just really have a complete putting area, then you can change where you putt without moving, using the mouse or anything like that to kind of move the your line of direction. per se. So that's kind of what that one is. The BLI is kind of interesting. That kind of shows up at the bottom of the putting hole when you're changing the putter direction. It's a little thing that kind of shows at the bottom to just show you what the break, which way the break is going. I'm not going to talk much about that because it's interesting, but it's there, and I'm sure you can find if there's more detail. Just hit me up. Hey, don't forget, leave me a comment, whatever. Again, thank you guys too, at this point for watching Strok'en with Pipes. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, give me a like, hit that bell so you get notified of new videos. And then, again, I appreciate it watching. So now, I'll continue on with a couple other things on this. So now, the other thing too is the enable handicap. So this is the enable handicap. Some of the things of the online sim world is some courses are kind of handicap based, and you play enough and you play these courses that are handicap based, you start to get an actual sim golf handicap, which also works and makes it good for playing in some of the online tournaments, etc. So you'll then become or get a tournament handicap. That's what this is. It's basically to enable the handicapping features of when you're playing, etc. So that over time you'll develop a handicap for the online sim world. And then this, to kind of show you, resume previous, right? So what this is indicating that if you pick the course, when you pick that course, if you pick the course and you haven't completed that round, and maybe you have something going on, which is the cool thing about sim, you can play 3 holes, come back and finish, play 5, 6, come back and finish. That's what this is that since I played this course, a couple of days ago I was looking at it and I didn't finish it, I could then kind of resume that round. So I can basically click this to say resume that round, and it'll go back to all the settings that I had picked when I was playing that round, and then I can just go ahead and go and finish it out. If you are playing a course for the first time, you won't see that resume, or if you plan a course that you already kind of completed, you won't see this resume. You only see it when it's around when you didn't complete it, all 18, etc. Now, the other coolest feature about this is, again, I told you I picked the course, which is Stillers Park in Aurora, Illinois, and I'm gonna play. One of the best things about this GSPro and why I really, really enjoyed and jumped on it is now you can pick and choose exactly what holes you want to play. You got some buddies coming over, you can say, we're just gonna do the back 9, we're just gonna do the front 9, and what you do is you can just say front. So when I click front, it clicks all of the front 9. When I say go, it'll then let me start playing from first to the 9th hole. I go and I say, well, we want to do the front and the back, then you click both. The other cool thing is I can unclick both of them, and you know what? We short on time, or we just want to tackle the 6 best holes, or maybe only the 4 par 3s. And if you know the layouts of the course, and you know that, you could basically just say that. So we're just gonna play hole 2. You go front. We're just gonna play. Actually on this, you can pick these holes, but let me back up a little bit. So you pick whether you want the front or the back, but later on in the game, when you're practicing, you can then determine the holes you want to practice on. I stand corrected that when you're playing, you can say I want to play the front 9 or the back 9 against a guys or a local. But when we go into the practice mode, which is more for you to practice, in the practice mode, you can basically pick whatever hole you want to practice on, 2, 3, 5, 6, or whatever, and I'll show you that. But when you're playing against other people, whether it be your buddies local or online, you have the option to either do the front 9 and the back 9, or just one of the other 9s. So that's it about playing. I'll just go ahead and click it and say go, just so you kind of see it load up. But then I'll exit back. I'll show you a couple features that show once we get in it and we start playing the game. So I'm gonna quickly just hit the little go there, and we'll just go ahead. So when you hit the go, again, that thing comes up, it'll go through. It'll take a couple seconds just to load up that course, and then you'll be ready to play. It's gonna put you on first tee, and you'll be ready to hit a ball. Right. So right now it's all good, all loaded up, and now we're on the first tee. And what I'll do now is just go through some of the features of when you're playing. I won't hit any. I might hit one shot or whatever, just to kind of show you going that. So once you're in there, some of these things are based on when you set up the settings, right? And there's different shortcuts for certain things, right? So when you set up the settings, you determine where you want it, the Minimap to be. This is the Minimap opener, right? So you kind of click this. There you go. So this is the Minimap for this hole. And on the Minimap, you can also determine where your angle, where you want to point or where you want to put your landing spot to be, or pick your direction. You can also do that right here using the mouse or using the arrow keys, going left and right with the arrow keys. And that little red line right there is just showing you your direction, right? So I'm using the arrow key right now just to kind of show you. You can also do the same thing with the mouse with just a click. And then one of the other features, and the quick features I'll show you then with the keyboard, is the quick feature is just to kind of show you what your landing area would be based on the defaults of the game. The default of the game is, I think, drivers out 247 yards. And you can hit the J button whenever before you hit, and it'll show you that landing area and where it will take you. And you can hit it again to disappear, right? But anytime you want to see where you're landing or where you're aimed to with the keyboard, you can just hit the J button. And then once you do that, you can then use the arrow keys, kind of going left and right. And you can also go up and down, just changing that spot, right? Based on where you want to go. And then you go the J again to kind of get rid of it. The cool thing is, over here, you can also do that exact same thing on the Minimap, which makes it even quicker. So on the Minimap, you can use the mouse, just click, and then it'll just show you. And the cool thing on the Minimap, it shows you the amount of foot it is uphill, which is on the right, so 10 foot 10 inches downhill, and it shows you this is at the 221 yard marker, right? And you can change that going up and pick, and this then also picks the direction right away. So I'm just, boom, that's where I'm at. And if you hit the J button, the J would then again show you that little spot. But the Minimap is a little quicker way to kind of get to that same feature, and also show you, not only will it show you that, but it also at the top, as you can see, it'll say if you hit that spot and your top left of the mini bar, it tells you where you're gonna, how far you're gonna be from the green also. So if I hit this 247 yards, I'll also be 139 yards from the green. That's the cool thing. So that's the Minimap. And the features, not only it shows you if you hit that distance, but it shows you the distance to the green from that location also. In this Minimap, you can have this and keep it up, and then I'll jump over here to kind of show you the other little features of the game. So this is the little controls of the game. One of them being the flag is when you're on the green, and to take the flag in or out. So when I click that, you can kind of see the flag disappear in the back of my screen. It might be hard to determine, but that just to say take the flag in or out is better probably when you're on the green, etc. And then the little bar graph here kind of gives you your controls. So you can when you hit, to kind of show that. So I like to have this turned on. So it shows me, okay, my carry for the game, my total distance, my ball speed, backspin, peak height, distance to the pin, right? The cool thing about these things is you can then change and set these. So I'm not going to change, but I'm going to show you. So any one of these, you can go down, and I can make it something else that's important to you that you want to see after you hit every ball. And you also can change that whether you want it in metric or in imperial, right? So you pick how you want those shown. You know, and the height and metric. All right, and I like imperial because imperial shows you true yardage. Metric will show you millimeters type deal. But then to change this, so if I want to change the one that says carry game, which is one I'm on right now, these are all the options that you can pick from. So you get total spin, peak height, descent angle, ball speed, etc. So when you're playing a live round, you can have up to 6 of those shown. You pick which 6 you want, and you just go down, and you can put them in whatever order you want them to see them in. And they just show up down the side here. So you kind of pick that, and that's the little graph right here to kind of do that. Now, keyboard shortcuts, which is interesting too, because when you're playing a game, and I basically taken this and I print it out, make a printout of it and put it up, somewhere in my room or whatever, especially with buddies and friends flying over. One of the keys I was showing you was the J button. So the J is called the shot cam. So that shows you your shot landing area. But you can see there's another one, the O is a flyover. So kind of show you that. So if I'm on this and I hit the O button, it's going to go through a flyover of that entire hole. So from T to green, you can do a quick flyover of that hole if you need to. And you can do this for any hole that you're playing. And you just hit the O button again to take you back to your T box, right? So that's one of the shortcuts. The other ones I'll kind of just show up here, but you can kind of see. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you got the flyover, you got the shot cam, you got the K for club down, you got your lighting. I'll show you a little bit of that. You got the I to club up, the U to toggle your putter or not. Anytime you want to see the scorecard, you can hit the T button. So if you're here, just hit the T to show you the scorecard type deal. So getting used to these shortcuts, I basically just take a little screen print of this and print it out and put it close until you kind of get it locked in. One of the things that people forget or get lost on is the H will hide all those menu things, right? So if you're playing a game and you lose some of this stuff, one of the things, the first thing you kind of remember is maybe you hit the H button by accident. So now I hit the H button and all that stuff is gone and you can just play golf, right? But that's just so you know, if you're playing a game and you lose that with the GSPro, that's why. You hit the H button, all right? So kind of keep that in mind. Again, I like that just have the H, the shot cam, the J, the O. Those are pretty common that you'll use a lot. The left and right with your arrow keys. And then another one I'll mention too is the sound. So the minus and the plus to turn the sound on and off. And you'll hear like sounds if you're close by water. You might hear the water. You might hear the wind. The sounds that's outside, etc. With that, and you'll kind of hear some of that stuff. But that's kind of the keyboard. You got that represents the scorecard too. That represents your ball. So when you're playing, if you need to take a drop, you need to re-hit and that type of stuff, or concede a mulligan, you get stuck somewhere. So that's what the ball is. The airplane is the same thing as the O, which is the flyover. So you can also do that right here. Same thing, flyover. And then the settings, the gear is for other settings, right? So you can kind of go in here in the settings of the course settings, and you get the same thing. So you get the game and the players. Now, the only thing is when you're changing it there, it's not going to change this game. You have to restart the game that you're playing. But, it's kind of there. And then the cool one that is also really nice is the cloud, which allows you to change the way this thing is playing and look, right? So when you hit the cloud, which is also one of the shortcut keys of L for lighting, you can basically change these settings in the game. So with the game, I can say right now we're playing 1 o'clock, so I can use the slider to kind of change this and say, okay, I want to play in the morning. It's 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, or late afternoon and early evening or so. And you can see as I change this, it's changing the shadows, changing the time of day, etc. You can also, right here with the L, just change, and instead of it being clear, I want it to be cloudy, you know, type deal, and it changed the look of the course. The other cool part about it is you can also change to rain and even snow. So we can just say in heavy rain. Now you got the rain, it's coming down. So, but the cool thing is, you and your sim rule, guess what? You're not getting wet. Your rain suit is perfect. But that's the other cool thing about this. And again, with that the L button or the cloud, so now you can actually clear the rain. And the really cool is they even added snow. So I'm in the Midwest right now. We got snow on the ground. Hey, I can make it snow and be playing in my sim room and not have to put on nothing cold. But this is some of the cool features with that and changing your environment when you're playing. So that's again hitting the cloud or the L. Now the other cool thing about it, I'm going to go back real quickly here to just the normal clear sky, right? But not only can I do that though, but I can change the way this thing looks. So based on whatever how you're planning, you want to make it look really good for you. You can use these sliders to kind of change the way the screen shows up, your lighting, make the course pop a little more, whatever kind of works for you with the saturation, and make it look, you know, to you, the environment, color, all these things just changes the way the game looks, which you can kind of play around with in your environment and your setup and your video card, whatever would work for you. And then the volume lighting, the volume clouds and stuff like that, and then you just save it. So this then changes how the game looks, right? So again, without further ado, with that, you know, that's kind of like the quick features of the game. Once you're in there, I'm ready to play. And then since I'm here, I'm just gonna hit a quick little 8-iron, whatever, just to show you that what it does when you hit. So now, you know, I kind of picked my little landing spot over here, and you all right, so I just hit a little 8-iron here, just to kind of show you guys the ball tracer. Right? So then after you hit, there you go, that's your little ball tracer that kind of takes off. It is usually a second, at least for my setup, a second or two after I swing. So if I'm playing, I'm gonna hit the J real quick, just to kind of show you guys the landing area. You know, I'll go over just a bit here. Again, I'm not gonna change clubs, I'm just kind of showing you guys, and then I'm gonna turn this back on and show my little graph, because then when you hit, you'll see the carry, the total length, ball speed, etc. kind of show up. So I'm gonna hit one more here, and then I'll continue on and some couple other cool things about the video. So another nice little easy 8-iron. Again, there you go. You can see the ball kind of take off and kind of land. That yardage right there that you see at the ball, that shows you your yardage to the green that you got left. You also kind of get that up here to the pin, and then whether it's 4.2 yards down, whether it's a par, and then what you're hitting next as your second shot, etc. So that's kind of when you're playing. You kind of go through every hole where you're doing that. And actually, the reason I kind of jumped around, I was playing with two people, so that's why you kind of saw that differently. I actually hit one of PJ shots, right? So, and it'll show you here who's hitting. So, cool thing right now is expecting me to be hitting. But if you're playing with buddies, this is actually really nice too, because you're playing with buddies or whatever, and you got 4 or 5 guys over, and one guy, he wants to go, and he has to go take a break, you know, either go for a smoke break or go for a potty break. You don't have to wait for him to come back and everybody just sit here. All you got to do is up here, just click on who you want to hit, right? So right now I click on PJ, so now I want PJ to hit, or I can go back and say, okay, let Panther hit, type deal. You just click on who you want to hit, whether it be PJ, in this case PJ. So now PJ, I can have PJ go ahead and hit, and he doesn't have to wait for Panther to come back. PJ got 36 yards. We're going to go ahead and see that so you can see one of the things about when it gets to the green type deal. So PJ got 36 yards to the green. Panther went to the bathroom. So we'll wait for him. He still has 268 yards out. So the top guy shows PJ 36 yards out, 2 feet uphill, and Panther's 268 yards out. We'll wait for him to get back, but we'll keep playing. That's one of the really, really nice features of this game, is we don't have to wait for the guy to come back. And I just shanked that one, talking. But as you can see, if you shank it, you're gonna shank it. This thing is really cool. And now, as you see, it jumped right back to Panther. Hopefully he's back from his smoke break, etc. All right? So that's cool thing on the game and the features. So don't forget about that part. I'm glad that I got to show you guys that. You don't have to wait for somebody to come back from a smoke break or a bathroom break. You can just go ahead and just click on whoever you want to hit, and you can gotta keep it moving. All right? So I'm gonna go ahead and end this round. So when you want to end the round, you kind of have these. You just go up to the menu, and you just basically go back to the gear. In this case, we're playing this player in the course. I'm gonna say end round. So it's gonna end that round and take me right back to the initial starting page. So now this is another good point right now to say, hey, if you're liking this video, hey, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, give me a like. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, Strok'en with Pipes. Hey, we're gonna be doing it all winter, baby, and a little bit in the summer, but not as much in the summer. But during the winter, we straight Strok'en with Pipes, giving you guys more and more sim golf and sim things, and eventually some online events and me playing some golf. All right. Now. One other thing I'm going to get into, and I'll end this video, and I'll give you guys more stuff later, but this one I definitely want to talk about the practice feature. So we go into the practice area. Within the practice area, the one thing I'm going to talk about really in this video is the on-course practice. The on-course practice is really, really cool, and I'm going to do that, and then I'll do another video and go into some of the other features with the driving range and things like that. Like one of them, actually, I'll jump in the driving range first, because there's a cool thing in the driving range that I want to just point out within the driving range, and that is just changing your distance, a nice little slider to do that based on what you're working on, etc. The other cool thing I'll mention too with the driving range is almost every course that you pick or that you're playing may have a driving range. There's no easy way to find it, but it then gives you a little different feel of a driving range. So if one of the courses, whether it be Phillips Park or Bandon Dunes or whatever, you can go, and that's a driving range for that course, which kind of gives you more than just a normal like this. It more looks like, some of the ranges at the course. But so with the driving range, some of the features is that one of the things I want to point out is we know when we're playing the game, we have the little bar graph that gives us the 6 available game features in regards to ball, ball speed, etc. to kind of display. But when you go to practice, with practice you get up to, 10, 12? So you have up to 10 or 12 different features that you can display as you're working on and you can then again edit and change these to whatever you want to kind of display, right? The distance one is the total distance, and I'll show you guys that one real quickly because that's really the range. So how far does this range go out? But any of these I can then change them and put them in whatever order based on what I have here, and I can make those kind of show up. So this is whatever you feel you like or you want to see or that you care about. Now, the other thing that I really, reason I came into the range to kind of show you is the distance. This 416 to the pen, that basically shows you the distance to the pen, and I'm gonna do a flyover of the range. So that pen is 416 yards out, right? And I hit the flyover button or the airplane to kind of just show you the range, right? And then you go back to hit it again and go back to hit. What the cool thing is that you can change this, right? Using this slider up here, you just slide this down to whatever kind of fits in regards to how far you want the range to be for you, right? So if you're a big long hitter and you want it to be 315 yards, or you want to deal with your driver and you're talking, you can get up in that 280, 270 range, you can kind of do that and just bring the range to you. That's the cool thing. Now, even hey, if you just want to work on some 8-iron work, just drag that down, bring it down, and boom, there you go. You got some 8-iron work. Again, you can kind of look at it, see what the flyover is. So with your 8-iron, 146 yards, and kind of go from there with doing that. So that's one of the nice features of the range. Also, is just changing that. And then when you're doing it that way, and you're going ahead and hitting shot, you can basically go ahead and do some, mess around and see if you can get close to the pin. Because when you hit, it should also show you distance to the pin, which is my bottom right calculator over here. It kind of shows me how far I am from that pin. So I'm just going to hit one here. We'll see if I can get it there. Nope, and I shanked another one, which is all good. But you can kind of see, it re-shanks. You shank it, you're going to shank it. And a lot of that is me, working the video or whatever and not concentrating, but it is what it is, and that's why I love it. All right. One more for you there. Kind of pull down a little bit. We can kind of see the tracer kind of show. So you can go in the practice range and work on this stuff. And get your feedback. So you get, got the distance that you're hitting to, you got your carry, your total length, you got your spin, your backspin, descent angle, you got your offline, with the game, you got your virtual launch, you got your peak height, and you got your ball speed. There you go. So that's with the range, and the features there. And so I'll go ahead and end that part. And then I'm going to go to the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the practice. And I'm going to talk about practice on course practice. And then I'll go ahead and end this video. So on course practice. Again, any course you pick. We're going to go back to Phillips Park because, like I said, I got a tournament here this summer that I'm really going to be looking forward to and trying to see if this game matches up with the settings Phillips Park, real life course Phillips Park. It is based off of the Phillips Park that's in Aurora, and I'm just hoping that it's pretty accurate. So again, you got all these settings that I went through earlier, and now this is where I was saying I want to practice, and because I'm in the practice mode versus the live play mode or tournament mode, on the practice mode, I can pick and choose whatever, right? So I can pick and choose and say, I want the front and the back 9, and then in the game, I'll be able to then jump around to any of these holes. So I'm going to say both front and back. I'm going to say practice, and because I'm on a on-course practice, you'll see now I'll get another menu option up in my top left that will then allow me to jump around, right? So now I'm at Phillips Park. So this little feature here, there's two parts I'll talk to you about. The first one is the ball. So the ball allows you to then drop the ball anywhere on the course that you want to start hitting from. So now if I'm practicing, I can hit this ball and just drop it somewhere, right? you can drop it right here with the mouse, and it puts you that position, and then you start hitting, because we're in practice mode. Now, the cool thing is that you can also do it with the Minimap. So I can bring up the Minimap, go ahead, hit the ball, and then drop the ball anywhere right here. So right now I want to work on this little chip. Boom. Drop me right there. Now I can go ahead and I can just sit here and hit this shot. Hit this shot over and over and over and over and play. One of the best things about GSPro, especially if somebody is coming here, doing that, dropping a ball anywhere on the course, on any one of the courses that you have, and do some practice like this. Right? You see the little gimme circle. It changes colors when you get in the circle versus not, and it keeps taking you back. So you have a shot that gives you trouble, or you be like, man, every time I play this course, I always end up in this little spot. This is how you can just go and just over and over and over, hit this shot, get yourself comfortable with it, and you are ready. Now, reason I really like is, like I said, Phillips Park is a course that I'm going to be playing in a live tournament this summer. Man, if I don't play and score well on that course, there is a problem. And again, I can click this ball and drop it somewhere else. I can say, well, let me put it over here. Let me hit a couple chips from over here, right? Now, the other thing I'm not sure it allows you to do, and now I'll double check on that, that is maybe move the flag itself, right? I'm not sure if it allowed me to maybe move the flag to a different spot. But I know I can definitely move this ball and go all over the place in practice. So that's there. Now the other thing is you can do that because when I went into practice and I picked all the holes for the front and the 9, now guess what? I can jump around using this to pick whatever hole I want to deal with. I want to go to the Phillips Park 13th hole. Boom. It clicks me and puts me on the 13th hole. So now I'm on the 13th hole, and I want to look at the 13th hole because I want to see my distance maybe to this water, right? And okay, is this going to be an issue off the tee? So I can kind of do that, play around with that, or I can say, you know what? I'm going to drop a ball right there because if I lay up, and let's say if I lay up right here, maybe if I hit a good one, boom, what did that give me into the green, right? I just dropped the ball, it gives me 116 into the flag. Now, when I go play this course, I already got my game plan. I got my game plan ready that I don't have to worry about trying to overpower the course or put it in another area. Be like, okay, you know what? When I get right here, I'm gonna have 116 or so in. And you don't know what that's gonna do to your confidence of playing a course and being ready and getting ready. This right here is cool in regards to the practice area. You can virtually pick whatever course they have on the game, pick whatever hole you want to go to, and play it, right? And I'm gonna jump and show you this one more time real quick. I'm gonna jump out because I'm making this video on the heels of the PGA just finishing up where? Pebble Beach. So let's go on course practice, and we're gonna go right to Pebble Beach, and we're gonna go to that famous hole, that famous short par 3 hole, which is what? Number 7. So we're gonna go to that. I'm not gonna change anything here because I talked about that. So we're gonna do, you know, the front and the back to show up. I'm gonna go ahead and say practice. I'm gonna give it a quick second to come up, depending on how fast your gaming PC is, etc. But this doesn't take that much time when it comes to loading up. So I'm gonna jump in there real quick and I'm gonna load it up, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna hit a couple practice shots on this Pebble Beach famous 7th hole, short par 3, down hole, downwind. So I'm in there. Right away you can kind of see, comes up. So I'm gonna switch me quick right now, and I'm gonna go with the practice. It's kind of up, and I'm gonna jump to the 7th hole. Boom, there we go. 7th hole, and while I'm there, we're gonna do a quick little landing area. How cool is that? We got 109 yards, 109 yards to the pin, knowing that it's downhill. We're gonna open up our little graph here to show. We're making sure we're here, so that shows me 105 yards or whatever. That's a good landing area. And we're gonna hit a quick little shot on this hole. And now this is so nice because you're sitting at home, you're in your sim or you're watching, buddy's over. Maybe you got the PGA Tour on, and you're like, oh man, let's go play that same hole that they just played, or a hole, you know, and see how it looks. Boom. Quickly go in there, get some practice on there. The number 7 hole at Pebble Beach. And let's just do it. And you can probably hear a little bit of the ocean in the background. And there you go. How cool is that? Right? How cool is that to kind of do that? And this is one of the things in what GSPro does and gives me, and one of the things that I really, really is enjoying about it, is the ability to kind of jump around and do this, right? And then, so that is the practice area. So now you can pick whatever hole. You can also change the different camera angles. A little bit of slider with the way the video look, type deal. But this feature right here, Strok'en with pipes, the ability to pick any course, play any hole, jump around, and just pick the shot you want to hit. Let's just say on this same hole, I'm going to change the ball, and I want to just practice. I just want to practice this little bunker shot, because every time I play this, I'm coming out of this bunker, right? So you hit that ball there, you just put it right there in the bunker. And guess what? Now you got that bunker shot. Look at that view. Look at that view, man. Right now, in the Chicago area, it is probably 10 degrees outside, but I'm right here playing Pebble Beach, practicing my bunker shot on that 7th hole and hitting it too long. But let's see if we can get one closer for you as we get to the point of ending this video. Again, Strok'en with pipes. Don't forget to give me a like, hit that bell, and come back and watch some videos later. That's more like it style. Alright, there you go. This is GSPro and the different features that it has. I didn't go through everything and try to do everything, but I really wanted to just give you guys a little bit of that. And later on, you'll see videos when I do some online play and even some local game and online gaming using GSPro, which is pretty cool. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to, again, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, ask me a question, something that maybe I did not go over that you want to know about or ask me about in regards to the software. I'll be free to be willing to answer some of those questions within the comment. And again, enjoy, and I'll talk with you guys real soon. Enjoy. Thank you.